Okay. Tonight in the Discord chat. So if you're on the Patreon Discord, let me start off with this. Everybody's talking about steaks. Everybody's talking about draft beer, and I thought, you know what? That's fine. I'll take my notes tonight. I'll jump in on the idea of marinating ground beef, and if you haven't done it, it's a fantastic idea. So I'm going to throw that in there, even including patties. Now you gotta watch because ground beef you can't leave, you know, unfrozen for very long, but it can be really nice. Now the game tonight. This was a game that was great for Carolina until all of a sudden it wasn't, and now it's gonna give birth to all kinds of memes. And I do kind of feel bad for a player here, and so we'll go through and we'll get to that. No Pasternak, Ritchie still a healthy scratch for Boston. Nick Ritchie not impressing Bruce Cassidy, and of course Svechnikov. I don't even need to put it on the board because we know Svechnikov's not going to be back for this round. Dzingel takes a penalty. Early power play for the Bruins. The power play really wasn't a factor tonight for either team. Shots were 5-0 Bruins 4 minutes in. Reimer denied Krug. Studnicka then takes a penalty. The Canes get their chance, and I didn't realize when I wrote Canes get their chance that was their only chance. That was their only power play of the night. The Canes were held to no shots through 8 minutes. The Canes, this was the weirdest game I've ever seen Carolina play. This easily the weirdest game I've ever seen this team play. Krug, he was guilty of a turnover, recovered it, and deflected it out of play. But just before the halfway mark, Williams gets a goal from Gardner and Trocheck at 9:17. That was the first shot for the Canes. Goes underneath the glove of Halak. Not a great goal. Just going to straight up say, not a great goal for Halak. Not fantastic. Probably should have caught that one. The Canes then pressed trying to get point shots. So they realized that the point shot, like Williams had, was going in. So they were trying to get shots from the point on Halak, which is sound planning. The Bruins hadn't had a shot in a while. In fact, for over 12 minutes, they didn't have one. This is where momentum swings. Doesn't matter, there's no fans in attendance. Momentum swings are huge. I find it funny that they say, oh, even without fans, there's momentum swings. I've played games of street hockey where there's large momentum swings. Where you're like, hey, we can't let anything in. We're doing great. We're up 5-0. What's going on? It's 5-5. What happened? We had it. It's usually Lewis. Lewis, you know it's your fault. So I miss the meetups this summer. I really, really do. And I apologize we can't, but we can't. The Canes had the edge at that point. Wagner had a dangerous chance stopped by Reimer. Kasha hit the post. Heavy Canes pressure with 2.5 minutes left. Halak saves. Not a really pretty 20 minutes, but the Canes won that 20 minutes, and they'll take it. The shots in that first period were only 7-6 for the Canes. It was kind of a slow first period, but you know what? That's fine. Carolina's ahead. So second period. Early chance for Coyle was denied by Reimer. End-to-end action. More saves by Reimer. And it's interesting that he's on my board a lot. And I'm talking about how well he's playing. Post for Krejci. The pressure did draw a power play. Teravainen goes to the box. The Bruins pressured, but the Canes held. Like I said, the power plays really weren't a big factor in this game tonight. Reimer continued stopping everything. And then it goes the other way. And Martinook gets a goal from Aho and Teravainen that went underneath Halak's glove, same as the first one. He's got to get that one too. So we have 2 goals for Carolina. They're up 2-0. And both goals were not great goals for Jaro Halak. Not going to make any excuses there. They were goals that you've got to have those saves. And I started feeling like they were really missing Pasternak's finish in this game. This is one of those ones where they had Bjork on that first line again. It wasn't working. It wasn't connecting. They would bump him down and have Coyle on the line after a while. But to me, once it was 2-0, I was like, all right, so it feels like Boston doesn't quite have it clicking. They're not quite making it work. And Carolina's playing a really good... It felt like a road game. I understand they were in their home jerseys, but it felt like a road game, like they were just playing a really solid, unspectacular game. And their shots were going in. The Canes' confidence was growing with the 2-goal lead. And then they score a third, which I believe was Martinook's again, but he hit it with a high stick. And there was no question it was a high stick. So rather than being 3-0, which probably would have been curtains for the Bruins, it's still 2-0. Natchez then had a chance that went wide. And the Bruins were completely reeling at that stage. Although they outshoot Carolina in that period 11-10. Honestly... a lot of that came down to the fact that in the last minute, Hamilton takes a penalty, Bruins go to the power play, and Reimer denied Bergeron. There were chances for that power play. So we go into the third, it's 2-0 for Carolina. All set. All Carolina has to do is hold a 2-goal lead in the third period. And early on, the Bruins were overpassing on that power play that they opened the period with. They ended up with a shot on that, but they had a shot before the end of the period and then a shot to start the period on that power play, so 2 shots altogether. But again, it felt like instead of taking shots, they were second-guessing themselves and passing for the perfect shot. You guys know when a team does that. Not a lot of fun if you're cheering for that team. Quick break then. Aho to Martinook, and it ends up going wide. Corrali then gave it away to Aho, who shot over the net. Just a note to Sean Corrali, don't give it to number 20. If you're going to throw the puck up the middle, first off, I usually say don't do that. But if you're going to do it, don't give it to Sebastian Aho. The Bruins' passes weren't crisp. The Canes were defending well. And I put on the board, Reimer has to start Game 5. It's 2-0. We're 46 minutes into this game. The announcers are already talking about how much better Carolina's playing. Everything's going really well. And there's no, what is Reimer doing? Why did Reimer come out there? Reimer should have stayed in his net. Reimer comes out, and Jake DeBrusk is like, okay, and just goes around him, and nice diving Bobby Orr-like goal into what is an empty net because Reimer came out to challenge him. Kasha and Clifton with the assists at 7:26. And this is it. This is the big shift. And the Bruins, honestly, before Reimer comes out and challenges and DeBrusk puts it into the net, the Bruins look done. This was not a game where it was back and forth and it was really close. Now, Carolina wasn't getting shots, but they also weren't giving up a ton. And it sort of reminds me of what happened with Colorado earlier today, where Colorado didn't give up, they didn't let up, I should say, and they just kept getting shots and shots, and they kept, piling on and piling on. Carolina here in the third period, kind of sitting back, not overly worried, just keeping it to the outside. Don't worry about getting all kinds of shots. Don't get crazy with this. Don't try a whole bunch of crazy stuff because you're just trying to get it home. Once it was 2-1, everything changed. Then McAvoy drills Stahl out of the game. It was a shoulder, it hit him in the chest, and it knocked him flying. His head did snap back based on the force of the hit. He's out of the game. To me, from his reaction, I would say concussion. It was a clean hit. And I know I did check online to see if people are freaking out about it. There are some that are, but the vast majority of people are looking at it and saying that was a clean, hard hit. And, McAvoy just hit him just right. And, it was one of those, somewhere Scott Stevens is saying that's a hockey hit. So McAvoy knocked him out of the game. Now, I will agree. This is where you want to see Carolina, not necessarily picking a fight with McAvoy for that, but some kind of answer. Some kind of, you just took out our captain, we're angry, we're upset. And that really didn't happen. We really didn't see that. The momentum had shifted, and then Clifton gets a goal from Nordstrom and DeBrusk at 10 minutes and 10 seconds. At this point, Rod Brind'Amour is angry. He calls a timeout, brings the guys over, and chews them out. He is done with this stuff. He is not a happy camper, and he's saying a lot of angry, loud words. The Canes didn't have a shot in the third period when the Bruins scored that tying goal. Nothing. The answer to the Jordan Stahl hit, whatever you may think of it, is the indictment to the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. There wasn't an answer on the scoreboard, and there wasn't a physical answer to it either. So, we come out of the timeout, and then Marchand ends up on a breakaway from a great pass from Krug, and he puts it in the net at 11:40. At 7 minutes and 25 seconds of this third period, it's 2-0 Carolina. At 11 minutes and 40 seconds of the third period, it's 3-2 Boston. And again, the breakaway goal, you can't allow that. And then DeBrusk gets his second of the game from Kasha and Krejci at 14-17. It's 4-2. And, I'm legit just jaw dropped. I'm not doing a bunch of dancing and celebrating. I'm just jaw dropped. Like, I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know what's happened here. This was, and again, this is where the memes start, right? Like, oh, Reimer allowing 4 goals in a game in Toronto against Boston. Where have we seen that before? And I start to kind of feel bad for Reimer. At the same time, yes, he should not have come out to challenge on that first goal. So, yes, I understand the memes that are birthed out of this, and I understand people kind of getting a chuckle out of it if they don't have a dog in this fight. I'm sure Carolina fans aren't getting a chuckle out of this at all. So they pulled the goalie with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. And then the funny thing is, Carolina found out if you put the puck on the net, Halak's still not very good at stopping it. Teravainen gets a goal from Shea and Hamilton at 18:33. And you want to know what? That's the first shot Carolina had on net in the third period. Stahl is drilled out of the game somewhere between 7:26 and 10:10, and they didn't get a shot until they were 6-on-5 at 18:33. That's over 8 minutes of game time and not a shot. Definitely an iffy goal. Shouldn't have gone in. They pull the goalie again with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Carolina's unable to tie it. Boston keeps the puck out for the most part. And Boston gets away from the fact that Halak allowed 3 goals that he probably should have stopped. They had a 2-0 deficit going into the third period. Boston rallied around their banner, whatever you want to call it, when Rask decided he was going home. And there were a lot of people that said, all right, well, that's it. They don't want to be here. The Bruins clearly do. The Bruins clearly care. And whether this is a, you know what, if Tuukka doesn't care, we do, or whether it's a, we're going to do this for Tuukka, whatever the reason is, once DeBrusk gets that goal, it was crazy to watch that huge shift in the game. The shots are 7-6, as I said in the first for Carolina, 11-10 for Boston in the second. They were 16-2 for Boston in the third. Final shots 33-19. Hits were 37-36 for Carolina. Power plays, Boston goes 0 for 3. Carolina goes 0 for 1. Halak, 16 saves on 19 shots. He wasn't very good. And Reimer, 29 saves on 33 shots. Great in the first and the second. And then in the third, it all falls apart. And again, you just can't write this stuff. Or can you? Let me know your thoughts, because Boston now is up 3-1. They can potentially end this in a couple of days. It is noticeable without Svechnikov and without Pasternak how it does negatively impact the top lines for these teams. But Boston found a way to get around it tonight. We'll see what happens in Game 5. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.